Hi everyone! Our lesson today is called Space Travelers. Let's jump into our learning objectives. Today we will learn new vocab words that will help us understand why soil is so important for life and how soil is formed. Let's take a moment to make a prediction before we start. How do you think future soil will form? Write your answer down in your garden journal. We will start with our vocab. And remember, while I'm going through these words, you can be taking notes in your garden journal so you can look back and remember all these words later. Our first word is soil formation, and that just means how soil is formed. And it's formed through a combination of physical, chemical, and biological processes that help huge rocks break down over a long period of time into our soil. Our next word, weathering, is when rock is dissolved, worn away, or broken down into smaller and smaller pieces over time. Weathering can occur because of many things in our environment. It can occur with strong winds blowing across the surface of rocks and breaking it down. It can also occur with strong rains hammering down on the rock and slowly breaking it down over time. A combination of those things will make a lot of weathering and turn lots of rock into soil. Did you know that there's lots of layers of different materials that make up the crust of our earth? Topsoil is the rich upper layer that is where most plants have their roots. There are other layers underneath it that are different. Decomposition is the process of microorganisms breaking down materials to make soil. It's when anything that was once living, or organic material, is broken down. Soil composition is the combination of all the different components that make up our soil. And soil can be made up of organic material, sand, silt, or clay. Nice job, everyone. You made it through the vocab. Now let's take a closer look at how all those concepts come together through the process of soil formation. One important thing that makes up soil are our microorganisms. Remember, those are tiny, invisible little bugs that help to break down organic material to bring nutrients into our soils. The next important part of our soil composition is weathered rock. So when rocks break down over time with the help of things like wind or rain, they turn into smaller pieces like sand, silt, clay, and loam, and those go into our soil to give it really good structure. Soils stay rich and healthy over time with the addition of organic material. Those are things like leaves, sticks, or dead animals that get broken down by microorganisms and keep nutrients adding to the soil over time. What if we take an even closer look at healthy soil? What do you think a scientist might see if they put soil under the microscope? That's right, she'd see all the different soil components and lots of microorganisms. Here's a crazy fact for you. In a single handful of soil, there are over 100 billion microorganisms. And all of these organisms are serving an important function in the creation of soil. Thanks for doing such a great job paying attention. Now it's time for you to hear from your garden teacher.
Hello, scientists. So for today, we are going to be using our imaginations a lot in this lesson. So I want everybody to put their imagination cap on, and we are going to be traveling into space together. So I want everybody to close their eyes, and I'm going to read a scenario to everybody that's going to help us with this lesson, okay? So imagine that we are scientists from the planet Zog, journeying to a planet called Earth on a starship Zogma. We have been chosen to make an important journey. The people of Zog are growing tired of raiding other planets for food, and we want to find out how to grow food on our own. Our astronomers have detected a faraway planet called Earth, which appears to be covered in green plants. Our computers have analyzed the reason for this, and it appears to be a combination of sun, water, air, and a brownish-gray substance called soil. On Zog, we have plenty of sun, water, and air, but no soil covering the rocky ground. It is difficult for us to believe that all of their food comes from this simple substance. Our mission as scientists is to find out this material called soil, dissect it, and record each and every ingredient for our computer. This allows us to learn the secret of this material so we can make soil back on planet Zog. Upon landing, we are going to be looking at soil and dissecting them. Remember, it's crucial for the success of our mission that each and every substance found on the soil is recorded. Good luck to you all. Live long, planet Zog. We have a big mission today. We need to figure out what goes into soil. So the first thing we need to be able to do is we need to get a soil sample. So we need to go outside and get a handful of soil so that you can look really closely at it and figure out what this soil is made of. What are the different parts that are in this soil, okay? So please go gather a soil sample for this lesson. So once you gather your soil sample, we're going to have to look at it really closely. So I'm going to be looking at my soil sample, and I'm going to try and identify all the different parts of my soil. So in my soil, I see some sandy pieces. I see a few little twigs like this. I see some wood chips. I see some rocks. And I see a leaf. So as you're finding all of these different things in your soil sample, we're going to write them down in our garden journals. I'm going to write each thing that we find down so that we can recreate soil and try to make soil for planet Zog. Okay, explorers. So in my soil, I found rocks, sand, a leaf, wood chip, and twigs. So next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to walk around the garden and I'm going to look for each of these things. So I'm going to look for rocks, I'm going to look for twigs, sand, I'm going to look for wood chips, and leaves. And once I get all of those different things, I'm going to bring them back here and I'm going to try and make soil with them. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to find 2 big rocks to help crush up all of these things to try and make soil, okay? So I encourage everybody to go out into an outdoor space and try and find some things that they found in their soil sample. So I went and gathered all of my twigs and leaves and sand and rocks, and I crushed them with my rock for a long time, for almost 5 minutes. And look what happened. So this is the soil that I tried to make, and this is the real soil from Earth. Doesn't look very similar to me. And I have a hard time believing that any vegetables or any food would be able to grow in this. So I'm not sure if people on planet Zog will be able to make their own soil. And I wonder why that is. One thing that I was thinking about as I was doing this is that if a computer or a person is trying to make soil, they don't have the help of microorganisms. So to make this beautiful soil that we like to grow our food in, there needs to be lots of microorganisms to help break down all of this material and turn it back into soil. Another thing that it needs is weathering. So it needs to be rained on, to have the heat from the sun help break down all of these different parts to turn it into soil. And that process takes a long time. So on the first inch of our soil, the very top inch, it's called our topsoil, and it takes 100 years to make 1 inch of that topsoil. So it takes 100 years of decomposition and of weathering and of the help of microorganisms to help make that healthy topsoil. So I think the answer for today, unfortunately, is that we cannot help planet Zog create soil because soil is a very complex substance and it needs help from all of these different systems to be able to be healthy. Okay? So I hope this is a fun activity, and I appreciate everybody using their imaginations with me today to be space travelers and try and find out what soil is made of. Thanks.
Let's see what you learned. Try and answer these questions in your garden journal.